Hello everyone and welcome along to this video. Now today I'm going over this album here, the Concert for Bangladesh. So in this video I will show you the album here and then go over all the songs individually. So this album here was released on the 10th of January 1972. It was recorded on the 1st of August 1971 at like two shows, like one in the morning, one in the evening. Although most of the recordings on here are taken from the evening performance. Musicians on this album feature the likes of George Harrison, who was like kind of the main organizer of the two shows. Also included are Eric Clapton, Bob Dylan, Billy Preston, and Ringo. Now, John Lennon was actually supposed to be performing here. However, Yoko wanted to perform with him, and George, rightly so, was having none of that. So John Lennon eventually pulled out of performing, and with Paul McCartney, there's pretty much no chance that he would have performed here because he was pretty much too busy suing them all at this sort of time. There was very high tensions between George, John, and Ringo at one side, and then Paul on the other. So pretty much no chance that Paul would have performed here. This was kind of the first large-scale charity concert event thing, very much a precursor to Live Aid and stuff like the concert for New York City and stuff like that. Very much provided a model for those later events. The album itself was a huge success. It got to #1 in America and also won Album of the Year at the 1973 Grammy Awards. In total, the concert and subsequent album and film raised $1.2 million for the George Harrison UNICEF Fund. So here's the actual album itself here. Comes out this box set here, so the lid it just sort of lifts off here. You get a huge book with this, so it's about 60 odd pages in it. How many pages is there? 63 pages in this book here. So so you basically get a bit of information about background about the whole situation, what was in Bangladesh at this at the time, what they were raising money for. You also get pictures here. This is Ravi Shankar. He has the first side on here. The first side is Indian music, and then you also get other pictures of that of George. There's some very nice photographs in here as well. Also, yeah, a lot of good photos in here. There's Ringo there on the drums there, and then also Eric Clapton as well. This picture here, this one here was actually used on the front of the History of Clapton kind of compilation album. Well, I still haven't got. I still need to get that one, but yes, there's that picture used for that there. Get more pictures here. This picture of George and Bob Dylan here. This picture of Bob Dylan was actually used for his More Bob Dylan Hits album, and then there's other pictures of Bob Dylan as well, and more of George and stuff. So very good book indeed, I must say. Then just move that at the back there. You then get 3 LPs in here. They're all basically the same design here. They all come in these brown sleeves and same label on them all. There's a label there. They're all the same. So right. So yeah, 3 LPs of music on here. Very good set though, I must say. So now I will go over all the tracks you got on here. So it opens up an introduction speech from George, basically just explaining what's going to happen during those shows. But the first music you get on here is a piece called Bangladun. This is Indian music performed by Ravi Shankar. This isn't my personal cup of tea, but I do really like George Harrison songs where he does incorporate Indian elements, with Thinking You Without You or Sgt. Pepper. Love that one. The Inner Light, Love You Too. They're all great songs, but just these Indian instrumentals, they're not kind of my cup of tea. A bit too serious music for me. But could you definitely understand why George Harrison included a bit included Ravi Shankar again the show and on the album as well, because there's actually Ravi Shankar who directed George to the whole issue what was happening in Bangladesh at the time. So it's reported that they like like the actual shows, like Ravi Shankar was on for about 40 minutes, whereas only about 15 minutes is concluded on like the album. But like right, so I suppose it was definitely good that like they cut it down, but it's definitely not something that I listen to very often. Then get Wah Wah, which opens up like the rock and roll segment of like the show. This is a great performance of like the track from All Things Must Pass. I do actually prefer this version here, like the version like on this album here, to the the album version, because I kind of feel that the album version is very like overproduced. I feel like you have got like Phil Spector's wall of sound on it, and I can also like it's quite like overlonged as well. It's still a great song though, but it just seems a bit like overlonged. Whereas this one here, like it's about rather like they've cut it down a bit, and I definitely think that has been beneficial. Then get My Sweet Lord, which was a huge hit at the time, but massive #1 for George. Great song, but the particular version on this album here is kind of like lacking something what like the studio version has. Like the studio version just has like that magic what the live version doesn't have, but it's still a great song though. Next one here is like another one from George. This is Awaiting on You All, another brilliant album cut from All Things Must Pass. This is just as good as like the album version. Yeah, a very very good song. We then get a few numbers from like the other members like off like the band. The first one is That's the Way God Planned It. This is Billy Preston's song. Very powerful performance. I'm not a huge fan of like the song itself, but it's still a very good, powerful performance. I like the show, and I could do like understand and like I can really like appreciate George giving like the other performers like the spotlight, and not just keeping not just like keeping like the spotlight like on himself like for like the whole time. So that was very commendable. We then get Ringo sings a song as well. He sings It Don't Come Easy. This is my second favourite Ringo track. My first favourite is Photograph, but this is definitely my second favourite. And in this particular performance, like he forgets like a few words and that. Like I just very iconic performance and that. Like I'm glad that they think like go back and like re-edit it, like try and like make it get like the words right. Like I'm glad that it left it like it actually was. It just makes it seem like much more honest. We then get Beware of Darkness, which is another great song from George Harrison, on the album All Things Must Pass. I could do without Leon Russell's vocals on like this track. He comes in on like about like the third verse or something. But like I would have preferred it if like George had just sang this one by himself. We then have While My Guitar Gently Weeps. This was actually performed later on, like at like the actual concert, but it was moved up like on like the album due to like timing reasons on like the vinyl. This is a masterpiece on While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Brilliant song. Eric Clapton plays guitar on this one here, just like the original one. Now I'm actually just like a little side note here, like I'm actually like surprised that Eric Clapton like didn't get like a song like on this one here, like one of his like solo ones, maybe with maybe like song what he done with Cream or like one of like his early solo songs. But like they were like but apparently like he was having like drug problems like at the time, so that probably does explain why he didn't get a song like on like the concert. So that's why Guitar Gently Weeps. We then go into a medley sung by Leon Russell. He does Jumpin' Jack Flash and Youngblood. So Jumpin' Jack Flash is a fantastic song, although I do prefer the Rolling Stones version, obviously. Although Leon Russell does do a decent enough version. It then goes into Youngblood, and that's a song I've never been really a huge fan of. Like either like the Beatles version or like live at the BBC, I'm not I'm not like overly huge like on like that song, but yeah, I'm like Liam Russell, like he makes it drag out a bit. It does definitely go on a bit. We then have Here Comes the Sun. This is a very nice stripped back version like off like the song. It's just George and like another guitarist. Really a very good version, I think. So then side 5 is Bob Dylan's set, and like George Harrison like right up until like the last moment was having doubts over whether Dylan would actually appear like at back out at the concert. I could tell like he saw Dylan coming out from like the wings. He's still like up until at that point he wasn't sure like if Dylan would actually perform. Because this was his first US performance in like 5 years. Rather like it was quite like unpredictable whether like he would actually be there or not. Now also in like the top 10 artist video what I've done, like I was getting like quite a lot of hate for not putting Bob Dylan in like my list. Probably now like if I was to make that video again, I would probably like include Bob Dylan, but he would be quite near the bottom though, like off of this, maybe about 8 or 9, because I'm still not like a huge fan of him. But like the songs he does on this album though are very good. He starts with A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, a very good song. He also does It Takes a Lot to Cry, it takes a lot to laugh, it takes a train to cry, Blowing in the Wind, Mr. Tambourine Man, and Just Like a Woman. So like every one of his songs are very good, I think. So then since side 6 we're on now, the final side. George sings Something, the Beatles classic from Abbey Road. For me, this version it doesn't compare with like the album version at all. You can kind of hear like his voice go downhill a bit. This is actually put out by like my mum, because I listened to this CD, and like on this CD here, like you actually get live versions of While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Something, and Here Comes the Sun, all taken from like this concert here. And we were just like listening to it, and my mum pointed out that it sounds nothing like the original, what like we're all more familiar with. But this was kind of, this whole concert, it was like the start of like where like his voice was going downhill a bit, eventually reaching rock bottom like the Dark Horse tour. But I think he had surgery done, and like he ended up it was mostly recovered by 1976's 33 and a Third. But like on this album though, you can kind of tell like his voice is going downhill a little bit, but it's not like completely gone by this point though. But you just get like a little trickle off it deteriorating. The song that closes the album is the song Bangladesh. This is very much like the song of the moment. This was the first ever charity single ever. This was another hit, like a number 10 hit for George in like the UK. But I kind of feel that over the years this song has now got forgotten a lot. Like it's not seen as like one of his greatest hits, because it's not on this album here, and like it's not on many other George Harrison greatest hits albums that I know of. So as it's kind of a song that is starting to get forgotten a bit, which is a shame because it's a decent enough song. So that has me gone over this album here, Concert for Bangladesh. Out of 10, I don't really know what I could give it like out of 10, because it's not like a proper studio album. I'd probably give it about a 9 out of 10 maybe, something like that, because there are some great songs on it. Just a few like low points in it, like Leon Russell's set like isn't that good. Right, yeah, so like probably about a 9 out of 10 for this one here. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below, like the video and subscribe. So see you next time then. Goodbye.